This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
Okay, I've already actually had a couple of questions about a tone that I was using in the video. Specifically, I used it in the Player 2 Strat video that I did yesterday, and I had Momo jump into the emails and was asking how I dialed this preset in. So this is actually going to be part of a new folder that I'm going to put together on Gumroad. So it'll be £5 like all of my folders are, but it's going to be actually a bit of a smaller folder. To start off with, there might just be this one tone in there, unless I dial in something else between now and then. But essentially, it's going to be a growing folder, so keep hold of the link, or, you know, once you bought it, email me later on when you see me adding more presets to it. But the idea is that it's going to be presets that will work on the HX Stomp, which means it will work for every Helix user essentially. But I'm going to try and have like a bunch of dual amp presets here, and that's kind of the whole point of this, is to have like a sort of big sounding thing, like bigger than just one amp. But we're going to be having to do like quite a bit of work to find dual amp combinations that work together, and you know, with the DSP limitations here. So I've already done like a DUMBLE style one here, which is a litigator and the aristocrat. That's what I'll show you in this video. But I'm going to try and put together some kind of more varied, you know, different amp combinations. Like maybe it's a couple of Vox style amplifiers, or maybe it's a couple of Fender style amps, maybe it's a couple of litigators, maybe there's a Marshall combined with a Vox. Anyway, that will be the idea going forward. But to start off with, we'll just use this really kind of juicy DUMBLE tone that hopefully you dig. I certainly am really enjoying playing it. So I'm here using Helix Native for the purposes of this demo, but these are going to work on your HX Stomp. So we'll look at the preset. We're essentially going to have 3 snapshots here, right? So we got like a clean, and it's definitely already on the edge of breakup. So let's just look at what's going on. We've got a red squeeze compressor, which is sort of compressing and boosting. So 3.8 sensitivity, mix 83%, but giving us a substantial boost. Turn that off if you want. It's just definitely, you know, enhancing things, boosting things up front. That's the idea with that part. Then we split Y, so A, B, and we go into a line 6 litigator. You can see the settings if you want. 2.2, bass at 6.2, mids pushed to 10, treble at 6.8, presence at 3.4, channel volume at 9.7, master at 7.6. Then on this side, we've got low high shelf at 149 Hertz, pushing by plus 10.5 dB. So that's giving us a bit of air moving. Then we got a 4x12 Cali V30 with the 67 condenser and position at 3.9, no high cut on that. And then here we've got an amp and cab combination using the Aristocrat, and you'll see, well, I should turn this hum off probably. Save the library. Basically, channel 1 drive at 4.4, bass at 5.4, mids at 5.5, treble at 5.4, presence at 5.4, channel volume at 5.3, the boost is off, and then cab, same settings as the other cab essentially, right? And then we bring these back in and pan them. And then we got a dual delay with my normal settings, 375, 500 milliseconds. You know, tweak these to your liking. And then a glitz. Now, both the glitz and the dual delay are kind of important as they're stereo, but also not the most DSP heavy choices. So that's kind of what I'm going for here, is like a minimal-ish preset so that I can do dual amping, but also using snapshots. So here now we jump across, gain goes up, treble and presence comes down. On this side, gain goes up and the high cut comes down. So we then get and then let's just dial in, I guess, an even more gained up bad boy. So we're going to keep this high gain, high cut down a bit lower as we increase our gain. So by this point now, snapshot controller, taking this one all the way up to like 9. Okay, and then this one here will take all the way up to 10. But we're basically using amp drive for everything, most gain in the middle, and I'll also bring in controller snapshots, the noise gate here, so that I keep some of the touch responsiveness, but when it's the most gain, I want that off. And you could also put that on if you wanted a bit more of a you know, a less noisy kind of signal, but I quite like the feel without having the noise gate on. So let's save that. As I say, I'm going to build this folder up a bit more, but some of the other things that we might be able to do is, so if I bring in now, this is like a more voxy type. Switch this amp out, you know, I think we're going to be able to do some things, you know, maybe we could use like if we got rid of that compressor, now we've got some more options around what we could use. So for instance, I could have like an AC15. So like here, now I could call this JC Dual Vox Carol, and then save the library next here. So this is kind of like what the folder will eventually become, like a bunch of combinations, for instance. And I think it's going to be a good starting point for this sort of thing, at least. So sort of thing could be really nice. So here now matching up a matchless with a Vox AC50. We might even be able to add some stuff back in, like a compressor. Or, you know, some drive options. That would be kind of the concept. Nice, so that's really, really cool now. So clean, turn that off. So as I say, you know, if you want to get involved in this dual amp folder, that's kind of going to be the concept, like a growing folder. Just really enjoyable dual amp tones. yeah, so jump into the Gumroad if you want to check that out, and I'll catch you in another video soon. It's what I've been playing around with, but I thought there's some really cool tones. Some like edge of breakup, dual amp. Cheers for stopping by.